evening, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. We are back today for our second episode of No Chaser. I'm your host for this evening. I'm no other than the Dr. Nate the Mogul, MF. For everybody new who's tuned in tonight, I know you're wondering what the MF stands for. Last week, it was commented probably 300 times that everybody thought the MF stood for Mother Effer, which it doesn't. I am Dr. Nate the Mogul, MF, and MF stands for Mistake Fixer. And some people may say, well, Mistake Fixer, what does that mean? One of the main reasons for me putting this show together and wanting to get on social media and being vocal was just with all the mistakes I've made over my life. I kind of felt that this is my platform and my outlet to be able to help somebody else not to go down the same road that I went down. So there's your explanation for that. Tonight we're gonna address a serious topic. We are going to, be able to tackle something that's untalked about. We're gonna tackle something that a lot of people don't want to talk about. A lot of men and women. I won't just say it's only men. A lot of men and women is this subject is kind of taboo. I appreciate everybody that's on. Again, this is new for us, and it is totally blowing our mind for the love and support that we getting. All right, we're gonna get right into it because our last show, I felt like we didn't even have enough time because people wanted to comment and people wanted to get on, and we just had to kind of wrap it up. So we only have 60 minutes to go. So we try and start on time and we end on time. I appreciate everybody that's on. I'm sorry, y'all. I was trying to get my comments up. Miss Producer, I don't see the comments, though. I'm not able to see them. Okay. Anybody who's on, okay, I can see. So I can see the viewers. I can see the likes. I can see all of that. Okay, now I'm getting the comments. Okay, I got you, everybody. I appreciate you. Yes, you are on. Everybody's on. Okay, we up and running, y'all. So let's get straight into it. Let's start talking. Let's start talking about this topic. And like every other show, I'm very interested in you guys' comments. This is a conversation. This is an adult conversation that you should have your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your baby mama, your baby daddy. Maybe this may be the medium where you guys will be able to discuss this child support thing, and you'll be able to, get things taken care of and squared away where it starts to benefit the child or the children. Our hopes tonight is to be able to bridge a gap and be able to fix the problem that we're having, with this whole child support thing. So our question for the night and our topic for the night, and then a question is also included is child support. Does it help or does it hurt the child or the children that's involved with that? And I know some people might be thinking, of course, it's child support. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to go back because my producer is signaling me because she needs for you guys to understand why I have this tie on. I know y'all see this tie, right? So a lot of times, well, not a lot of times because we only had one show, but in our last show, we had a good time. We laughed, we joked, we played all the time. But I felt like since this is more of a serious issue, and since I'm going to try not to joke and play so much, I thought that I should show you guys how serious I am tonight by dressing up for the occasion. So as you can see, I'm fresh, got a necktie on, the Boy Scout knot, So we ready. We ready to get busy. All right. So this is a serious conversation tonight. It's grown folks tonight. We're gonna tackle some things. We're gonna get in depth. We're gonna talk about it. Our first comment is up. It's from Yogi. In a healthy relationship slash partnership, the parents should be able to solve all issues pertaining to the kids. So amazing comment, Yogi. What I want to say is, guys, um, on this show, we are able to keep it as real as we want to keep it. So I don't want you guys to comment things that you feel like you'll look good for, or I don't want you guys to comment things that you feel like people want to hear, because more than likely I'm going to say the things people are afraid to say. So just be aware of that, and just know that tonight I'm going to be raw. I'm going to be truthful. I'm going to bring up topics that are very uncomfortable for people to have in their households, okay? Again, from Yogi, it should be helping the children pertaining to child support, not the parent with custody, and that's in all caps. And that's an excellent point, and I'm happy that you brought that up, because we're talking with a lot of different, mainly men that I speak to. They're angry. They're angry over this child support. They're angry that, they have to pay this money. They're angry that they feel like their child's mother, or, their ex, whoever the child's mother definitely is, taking the child support money and using it for herself versus, making sure the kids are good. And that's what stemmed the question. Does child support help, or does it hurt the child? And meaning, now that I have to pay this child support, I'm angry with you. I'm mad with you. So now I don't want to see my kid. Now I'm not dealing with that kid. If that kid calls me, ask your mother. She get child support. I don't have nothing for you. When Christmas time come, I pay my child support. Ask your mother. I don't have nothing for you. Instead of me going to my child's banquet or dance, or, just coming over for Christmas, I'm not coming because I'm pissed off with the mother because I have to pay this child support. We got Robert on. In a perfect world, this would apply, but this is not reality. 100%. Cynthia, we are raising my grandson. Should I make his parents pay child support? That's an amazing question. So, my producer has put together a format for me from, how we trying to run the show. So I was going to try and hold my comment for the end, but you guys, I'd like for you to jump in and answer this question. Cynthia says, we are raising my grandson. Should I make his parents pay child support? Tiffany says, I think child support is a good guideline. The mother typically has the child majority of the time, and in some cases, the mother's always doing the most spending, given that's not always the case. Jackson, yes. I'm not sure what the yes is to. Okay, to Cynthia. Okay, so come on, people. What do you think? Miss Cynthia is raising her grandson. Should I make his parents pay child support? Tiffany says yes as well. So is it cool if I jump in and just answer that particular? Okay, so in that instance, I feel like, I guess first we would need to know, why are you raising your grandkids? Your grandson. I'm sorry. Is it because of a hardship? Is it because your son or daughter just couldn't do it? And do I think they should pay child support? I believe everybody should take care of their child. I also find it, for me, I couldn't imagine abandoning my kids. So I don't want to feel like they abandoned their kids. So it must be a reason why they had to leave. So my answer to the question is yes. I do feel like they should pay if you're raising your grandson. However, if it's a hardship on them, or they had to give up their child for a reason, then that's a whole, another subject. They made the baby. They need to have some type of responsibility. I agree, Cole. I agree open-heartedly with you, Jackson, but I also feel like, again, what my show is about is I'm the mistake fixer. And I'll never say that any of my kids were mistakes, but I will say that I was young when I had my older two sons, and if I could do it all over again, things would be different for me. Like I love them to the moon and back, but if I could have done things different at such a young age, things would have definitely been different for me. So sometimes we gotta dig into what is the reason why somebody has to take your kids, because I'm a father and I can only imagine what a mother has to go through if she has to give up her child. So I just couldn't fathom somebody taking one of my kids away from me personally. Like and for somebody who is just being irresponsible and had a baby and just don't want to take care of the baby and just doing whatever, I don't respect you. I think that you know is just a coward move. I believe that you probably should be stoned and put to death for abandoning your child. But that's just me. That's just how I feel about it. Yogi says yes, support should be necessary in her case. That's a good angle to come from first, also, cause yeah. So again, in that case, we just need to figure out what it is that happened. Shaquana says I agree. Guys, Robert is on. Jackson, if you guys know how it works, if you send your email over to the Nate the Mogul page inbox, uh, my producer will send you an email and you'll be able to get on live, because I would like to hear some input from everybody that's on. We want to try and not use any profanity, only because I don't know yet the real rules and regulations, and I don't want to get cut off, so early in the game. So let's get on. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. Child support. Does it hurt or does it help the child? Oh, boy. Coco is on. I definitely have to get on because I'm very interested in your comments, ma'am. It's about accountability, unfortunately. Child support has to be the measure. So, again, so I'm where I'm from, where I'm from a place that, unfortunately, abortions are a thing. Unfortunately, people have one night stands all the time. And when dude found out you're pregnant, he tells you don't have the baby, but you still go ahead and have the baby. Like, this is real. It's a thing. Like, how do we feel about it? Women will say, hey, well, you knew what we was doing when we was doing it, which is 100% true. How about, though, if a man says to you, don't have the baby, and you still go have the baby, then what? What do we do now? Is the father responsible? Is he, where do we go in that instance? Cynthia said, we have had him since 3 months old, and he is 11 now. They both signed over rights. He wants to stay with us. I have made them pay support because they weren't ready at the time. Maybe I haven't made them pay support because they weren't ready at the time. Honestly, they still are not there yet. So to us, support is needed, and they are both on support. The whole 200 a month, shaking my head. So Cynthia, I'm on Yogi. So honestly, I thought tonight that I would just drink water, only because I want to get over a different image on this show. I kind of wanted to be a little serious because this is a serious topic, and talking about child support, I don't always want people that look like me to be known to have a drink or be doing things. I just was going for a different image. That's why I put a tie on and dressed up tonight. So I'm only drinking water tonight, but you can bet you're behind the next show. I will have a delicious cocktail beverage. Cynthia, what I want to say to you is that, in this instance, you've had him since he was 3 months old, and I don't want to offend anybody, but I feel like, no, those parents shouldn't pay child support. I feel like you should keep that kid as far away from those parents as you can. I feel like um, they would be more pain to that child than good. And once people give you $100 a month, $200 a month, whatever it is, they feel like they entitled and they have something to say. At 3 months old, you let that baby go. That baby is happy. He's in an amazing home. He has two amazing parents, and I wouldn't take a coin from them. They probably shouldn't even call my son, because that's your son. You shouldn't even call him your grandson no more. That is now your child. That is Jackson's child, and y'all should just move on and chalk it up. $200 is not going to make him no never mind with just the cost of his sneakers right now at 11 years old. $200 will barely get him a pair of sneakers. So my answer to you is no. I don't think they should pay child support. I think you should move on, let them be, and let them go about their business. That's just my personal hold on one second. That's just my personal opinion on that. Guys, I walked up a little bit, so I'm D Will, Coco, I'm not sure what you meant about that. I apologize. The father became responsible as soon as he laid down to have unprotected sex. Kimberly, I agree with that to an extent. I feel like both of you guys made a mistake, and if that's a discussion that should have been had. Like, yeah, we are about to have a good time, but I'm not on anything. I could possibly get pregnant. If I get pregnant, I'm not having an abortion. So if you go ahead and do it, you know what's up. And I think that in that instance, the child has to be thought about more than our. Sometimes we just get extremely emotional. And if a man tells you from the jump, don't have no baby, I don't want no baby, you just have to think about, am I going to be able to support this baby? What if? What if I don't get child support? What if he disappears? What if? You always got to have that what if in there. And I'm not saying a man is right for doing that, but I am saying that when we talk about child support, do it help or do it hurt the child? That's what we're trying to get across here, okay? Shaquana, he should have decided he didn't want to have a baby when he chose not to use protection. So deciding to not use protection forfeits your say and not wanting to be a dad. Again, to you, Miss Shaquana, you are a different type of lady. You are a lady of class. You are a lady of honor. And I'm sure that any time you had unprotected sex, you were with somebody that you knew this could happen. I'm more speaking towards the one night stands. I'm speaking towards we both was drunk. We made a bad decision. Like, I get it. There are some men right now that I'm sure some women on this live wish that they didn't have that one night stand with. And those are the women that I'm talking about that it needs to be discussed. It needs to be talked about. We need to be more responsible than with having a one night stand. Go get a condom. Like, go get some protection. Yeah, things happen, but at the same time, he is 100% responsible. But I forgot the saying, but it's like mommy's something. Mommy's baby, daddy's maybe. And that's 100% true. And women, we got to think about that when we busting these moves, Yogi, child support is necessary at this point. I'm paying $800 for one, and honestly haven't been there as much as I should have been. In Cynthia's case, it should be at least $500 a month, and that doesn't even cover cost of the maintenance now and moving forward. With Yogi, $800 a month. That's probably because you're making a heap of money while you paying so much. But what I want to know from you, if you don't mind, are you in touch with the child? Does mom took you to court because she mad you moved on? When baby, I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, but when a baby call for holidays and different stuff, do you tell them, hey, I pay your mother $800 a month, go get it from her? Okay, I'm tagging my sister so she could tune in. Definitely, we'd love to have her on. Sade, is Sade on? You said who's in the queue? Robert? Okay, you can bring Robert in while I read this comment. Rashawn, well, I'm an awesome dad, and that's a fact. I'm currently in Disney with my child as we speak. I pay for private school, dance school, vacations, etc. However, I'm one of the great dads that are currently on child support. $7,000 a month? Jesus. Puff. Hey, I almost call him Puff because we grew up together. Hey, my man, we can have a kilt for less than that, man. That is ridiculous, my boy. $7,000 a month because of bitter ex. There has to be something in place to protect parents that are active. So what's crazy, right? And this is my point. And Sean, I'm happy that you said that because I watch you on social media all the time with your daughter. I watch the way y'all move. I watch how you date your daughter. You're one of the first persons that I ever saw a post like "date my daughter," and I date my dope kid. And I always watch a hashtag when you do that. Bro, I think you gotta mute your background, mute your computer, I think. And I love the way that you do that. I want to say that first I applaud you because a lot of people looking at 7,000 a month, but you got to realize when you got it, that's what it's going to be. Like the man is doing very well for himself. So I don't want you guys to look at the money portion of it. What I want you to understand is I do see him, always with his child. Now, we don't know the woman's side of it. He could be just posting for social media. I know a few of my friends that do that. They just post for social media so it looks a certain way. But this is one of the main points that I was making here is, does child support hurt or does child support help the kid? And meaning that he pays $7,000 a month. He does all of these things for his child, but because his ex is bitter, she gonna watch how much he make, watch what he do. Every time she feel like he opened a new business, she gonna go back to court. And I've been through the child support system. Unless you go with a high-paid attorney or something, the judge don't even listen to you. The judge don't want to hear nothing. At least in New York, that's the way it is. I went on the child support court in New York, and he don't want to hear nothing. Like he want his money. Hey, give her this amount. This is what she needs. They'd say, hey, he goes to private school. Doggone well that kid goes to public school. But they say you go to private school. They say, hey, I pay all of this money in daycare. Oh, I do this, I do that. And the man has no say so. However, I will also say that us as black men, and it's not a race thing, but I want to say us, our people, I can only speak for my people. We are afraid of court. Go to court, my man. Let her put you on. Let her take you for child support. It's okay. Go to court. Prove your point. They can't get from you what you don't have. But where I made a mistake was I didn't go to court. We are afraid of court. We are afraid of going to court. And that makes absolutely no sense at all. Did Rob get off? All right, I don't see him up. When he come back in, put him on for me, please. Coco, I'd love to have you on. If you send your email over to the Dr. Nate the Mogul page, we can get you on live. I'd love to hear from you. Yogi, absolutely. I'm in touch with my daughter a lot. Holidays and birthdays are extra, and I do not mind paying that in full. I can't understand. I think that's honestly, it's about $1,200 a month for a 17-year-old junior in high school. Principal's list 3 years running. I have I guess no problem with doing it and more if necessary. Brabs. If the parent is involved with the child, court should not be. Tailor-made. Jackson, I need my $7K a month. Say that. What is this from? Oh, okay. Where's she on? Is she not on this live? Oh, I'm sorry. I missed Bria. Okay, I apologize. From Bria, I think child support is a ricochet of an irresponsible, non-custodial parent. I get it because it's needed. If I didn't get it through the system, I'd get it whenever he felt like sending it, or maybe not at all. Wow. So Bria, and you doing that, how does it affect your kids? Like, does he? Because I'm sure he's mad that you have to get it that way. So how does it affect the kids? What does he do for them? Does he, not take care of them? Does he, what exactly does he do? And as far as Brabs, she said if the parent is involved with the child, court should not be. I believe that. I'll also be here. I'll also be here to be the devil's advocate to say is that honestly, if I had to put an estimate on it, I would say out of 10 women, 8 of them take men to court because they don't do the right thing. And I know a lot of dudes gonna give me backlash for this, but it is what it is. I do believe there's two women that's just crazy and that they're bitter and that they want to hurt you, so they take you to child support court. But I believe the majority of women would prefer to stay out of court. I believe that if we as men did what we needed to do for our kids, a lot of us wouldn't be have a court order and we wouldn't have to pay. But unfortunately, and again, I call myself a doctor of mistake fixing because I want to share my problems with you in hopes that you'll take what I did wrong and do the right thing for yourself. So I'll give you a prime example is that I would go buy champagne in a club, I would show off, I would spend money on sneakers and do all of this stuff, man. But I had a problem anytime my son's mother would ask me like for money. Like I always thought like it was too much. But I just spent 600 on champagne. I just spent, whatever money I needed to spend. But whenever she would ask, it would always be a song and a dance until honestly she got fed up. And if I'm gonna be honest with you, I remember her begging and pleading, even came with like this whole letter and was like, yo, just agree to give me 200 a week to pay for daycare at the time. She was like, just give me 200 a week to pay for daycare. But in my head, F you, I'm not signing that. I'm not giving you nothing. I take care of my son because I was buying him the new Jordans when they came out, and I was going to this spot in New York called Century 21, getting him some polo jeans. So I thought I was killing it. But in my wrap up tonight, I'm going to share with you how much money I spend right now between my 8-year-old, my 2-year-old, and my 1-year-old. And if I had to pay child support, I wouldn't understand. Like a lot of times, fellas, I think when we get these big numbers in court, we really don't understand the cost that's associated with having these kids, man. Like, I feel like now it may be cheaper for me to just get a divorce and goddamn just move somewhere because these kids, as soon as my check come in, it's like I'm gonna start having my direct deposit just sent straight to her account because I be feeling like I don't have nothing. Yogi said there are some of us black men that need to keep it real and admit that some of our peers are not even a part of their kid's life. And that's 100%. And we're not helping the situation any if we condone that, Quentin, this is an OG here, man. This guy has gotten me through so many stress times. And, man, when I was just ready to end it all, he talked me down off a ledge. I love this guy. He says, this is the problem with having that one night stand. Too many children have been born because of lust, drunkenness, and just plain ignorance. As far as child support, it's necessary to do your part in helping to raise your child. Hopefully, the mother does the correct thing with the money given. In most cases, brothers who have a ridiculous child support payment is usually behind. Now, if you are paying a high amount because of your overtime pay the following year, if your salary has reduced, is there more to that comment? Where is it? If your salary, hold on one second. I'm sorry, y'all. Overtime pay. Okay, if your salary has reduced, get a downward modification from the courts. Most of these bad child support issues are from having kids with someone they truly had no feelings for. Bottom line, a child never asked to come into this world. Man, I agree with you 100%, Triple OG. Bria said he gets them every other weekend if he's not going out of town. I don't ask him for anything extra. Bria, with the child support he pays, does it put a dent in the bills that you have to pay? Does it help you at all? When you follow him on social media, do you see him spending 3 and 4 times what he complaining about giving you monthly? I ain't gonna get into that, man. Huh? Okay. You said $200, bro. Unmute yourself. Um, I like to invite Brother Rob. Man, this is actually my little brother. He's also my pastor. And don't get the pastor thing twisted because this is one of the realest dudes y'all probably ever gonna meet. I'm very interested in what he has to say. And the reason why I wanted him on, because he has 4, right? beautiful daughters, 4, right? 4 beautiful daughters. He's been married before me. He was young married, and I was tripping. Like, I couldn't even believe he was married. But he was a solid dude, man. And not not to put you out there, but I've known times that I wouldn't have been able to handle the stress that you had on your shoulders, and I wouldn't have been able to stay in the game with all of the things that you went through and still held it down and took care of your daughters and, had your family with you. And I think that is extra dope. And that's why I wanted to get you on, because I think a lot of times, and where we both from, men try and, make it okay, like with everything you've been through, had you, dipped out and left, maybe your wife might have got salty and went and put you on child support, but it's only because she was hurt. It wouldn't have been, that's just basically what it be. We sometimes leave the wrong way, or we sometimes like give them our butts to kiss, and they're like, "Yo, really, dude? After I done held you down all this time." So I think sometimes with child support, like, we be upset, but it'd be stuff we could avoid. But we love to hear your views on it, brother.
Well, first, I want to thank you for having me on the show. The second show, the first one was fire. So I'm honored to be one of your first guests on the show. The crazy thing about it is the entire concept of child support, we actually get to what it's about. What is the purpose of child support? Child support says that basically you and another individual had a child, you guys didn't get along, but the child is still here. And so now what we have to do is come up with a plan that's on paper that says you're going to pay this particular amount of money per month to make sure that the child has everything that they need. And in return, what do I get? I make sure that I get my visitation rights and I get to see my child whenever I want to see my child. The problem is what women and men, because I make sure I want to put that out there, what women and men have done, they have used the child support system as ammunition, as a way to have revenge on that particular person that they were with. Let me explain what that means. In other words, realistically, and Yogi made this comment earlier, which I thought was a phenomenal comment. We're talking about in reality, in the real world, it literally could be, you know what, yo, listen, this is not working out. So listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to split everything down the middle pertaining to the child. You're going to see the child on this day. I'm going to make sure I pay for this. You pay for the school clothes. You pay for the tuition, whatever the case may be, right? We never get to that place. Why? We never get to that place because in reality, somebody is always salty at the end of a relationship. Always. And a child literally exposes those particular emotions and feelings. So now I'm going to use myself as an example because it's the only way that I can give truth to that particular statement. Now, as my brother just mentioned, I have 4 daughters. Four daughters. My oldest daughter is by another young woman. Now, my brother knows what my original situation was with her. We was fine until the child came. When the child came, the next thing you know, nobody wanted to be around. Now, because of the type of father that we had, raising children and being there for our children was never an option. Never was an option. Now, a couple of years later, I move on. I meet my wife. My wife and I get married, and now we're expecting a child. Now, all of a sudden, as I have already been taking care of my child, never had to worry about paying nothing. She's never had to worry about anything a day in her life. All of a sudden, I get papers in the mail saying that this particular person wants to bring you to court for child support. And I'm like, well, what is this about? Long story short, my wife, my daughter's mother and myself right now are some of the best co-parents on the planet. The reason why is because we took the emotion out of the situation and realized it's not about us, it's about the child. Once we actually can get to that place where we actually take the emotion out of the situation and say, this is about the child, this is not about how you feel and what you did to me, all of those things work out. You want to know what's crazy though? At the conclusion of this case, she comes to me in private and says, listen, I'm sorry for putting you through this. And I said, well, what do you mean? She says, because realistically, I only did this because I was mad. So I said, wait a minute. You're having me come back and forth to court and to go through all of these situations I'm going through because you were mad? And
Bro,
so
let me interrupt you real quick, if you don't mind. Let me just interrupt you real quick. And I know your statue in the community. I know who you are. And again, if you don't want to answer it, it's fine. But what I want to know is, during the period when you got those papers, I'm sure you were angry about these papers. Did it affect your daughter at all? Did it affect the way you communicated? Did it affect you sending anything because you were mad about getting these papers and knowing that y'all were cool, and next thing you know, you got these papers in the mail? Did your daughter, was she affected at all because you and mom couldn't get along?
Actually, my daughter didn't suffer at all. To be honest with you, you know when she suffered? When we actually had to go to court. That's when she suffered. There was no lack of communication. I still was picking her up every weekend, every single weekend. I'm talking about there wasn't a weekend that I missed. Unless I was at work or I was at school or I was on a preaching engagement, there was never a time that you didn't see me without her.
And that was my next question. During this period, were you a preacher then?
At this particular point in my life, I was not fully preaching. I was in ministry, working in ministry. I was not fully preaching. I was doing small things here and there, but I was not fully engaged in ministry.
Did that affect the way you dealt with her after getting those papers, the life and the new walk that you were walking? What I'm asking you is, all right, and what I want to know is, my little brother from Brownsville that wasn't thinking about God, would he have handled his daughter differently had he got them papers back then?
If you're asking me would I have handled the situation if I didn't know Christ in my life, yes, I probably would have handled it differently.
Okay, so if you had to sum this up and answer this question, not as a pastor, as somebody before you started walking this faith, would child support have affected your daughter good or bad?
It would have affected my daughter bad. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that.
Yep.
It would have been bad because realistically, I was paying more than what child support would have ever ordered me to pay.
I hear that a lot.
I'm talking about, this is when we was getting stupid money, and we wasn't fully nobody was saved, and we were still working at the club and getting money, and we was doing whatever we was doing.
The comments and views that are being given at this time has nothing to do with me. They are not anything that I'm agreeing with or that I do not know what this man is talking about right now at all.
But anyways, when we was getting when my daughter never lacked for, because and also because it wasn't just me. Like if I didn't do it, my mother would do it. Or if my mother didn't provide whatever, when Pops was alive, he would do it. So it was never a lack. It was never a lack in what my daughter was getting. The child support would have made it worse. Because at one point in time, if I'm spending roughly, let's say $600 a month, the papers I got, they only wanted me to pay $250.
All right, bro. In 30 seconds, my producer is wrapping me up. Give your 30-second wrap up.
Listen, at the end of the day, this is what you're going to do. Everybody is grown till they want to be grown. And I'm just going to be real about that. Everybody wants to be adults until they actually want to be adults. You don't even have to get the court system involved to handle any of this. If you're mature enough to lay down with a particular person and have a child, you're mature enough to sit at a table and say, hey, we got the child. This is what we're going to do. And this is how the child's going to be taken care of until that child is 18 years of age. If you can't handle that, then I'm going to be real with you. Keep your pants up.
And before we go, sir, please let everybody know your name of your church, where they can find you at on social media.
I am the lead pastor of the Excellent Church, Virginia. You can find me on all of my social media handles at I am Pastor Rob, or you can find us on Instagram, I am Pastor Rob, or on my Twitter handle, I am Pastor Rob. You can find me on all of one of those, or you can also find me at my nonprofit organization, Be the Change RVA.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on. You are an amazing dad. not just because you're my brother. I mean it. And my point for this show, and just for this particular show tonight, and just this show in general, is just to change the narrative, to let people know that we all not bad. Like, there's really some good black men in this world that's doing positive things, and we trying to make change. So stay straight, bro. Stay doing what you're doing, and I love you, man. Thank you for coming on.
Love you, man, and
All right,
continue to
man.
do what you're doing. This is a topic that needs to be discussed.
Appreciate you, my brother.
All right.
Kim Kane, I didn't miss you. She said, you said 200 is the cost for sneakers. Move on. But at least the child knows the mother or father did something while I was growing up instead of nothing at all. I think that way to, I think that would say to the child, they tried to do what they can. Remember, that child is going to grow up to be a man or woman who would possibly understand the situation better as an adult. Kim, me as being a dad, I have to protect my child from a child. And I have to do what's best for that child. And somebody who would give him up at 3 months old is not the best thing for him. And he doesn't need to know nothing about them or nothing that they did. Now, later on in life, if that's something my wife and I, or in their case, her husband and her decide to talk to that child about, then that's fine. But the best thing for that child is to be loved the way that he being loved, and to move on with his life, and not to know them people that made a terrible mistake by giving him up. And I appreciate your comment. Yogi, men who step up when not with the child's mother are few and far between. And I'm not perfect at all. I have faults and make mistakes. However, all my kids know I have and will always have an impact in their lives. And that's all that matters, my brother. All that matters is that you're not perfect. Nobody is perfect. But it's about, what do you do to make things right? You know, I mean, some people don't have money. Some people can't pay child support. But, you know, what are you doing to try and right your wrongs? You know, I'll tell you right now, I paid up probably 40 grand in arrears that I owed. And that's a whole nother story. Like, my son lived with me. My son was with me since he was in junior high school, and I was still paying child support, and the court was like, well, you just making up for the time that you weren't paying. Like, it's crazy. I can't hang with, condone, act like it's cool, or even mess with, or I guess any of my dudes who don't have the role in their kid's life. Well, the sad thing is, cause is that men not gonna tell you they not in their kid's life. We gonna pretend like we doing so much, and we gonna pretend, and every time we get them after we haven't seen them in 9 months, we gonna post pictures on Facebook, and we gonna try and pretend like we doing so much. But in real life, man, dude's not doing anything, you know. Um, it's funny. I'm reading Super Facts from Dr. Nate DeMogo, and I'm like, what? Okay. Bria, it helps with getting the kids clothes, shoes, pull-ups, nothing else. I don't follow him on social media, but I'm sure he is, since he has a new car every time I pick up the kids. LOL. So, Bria, and that's one of the things why I asked, what my question was about is, do it help or do it hurt the child? You know, because a lot of times us men, we bitter, and you know, we don't do nothing extra for the kid because we mad with the moms. And like Robert said, like, we all have to just come and be adults and get it together. We got Shaquana. In some cases, it is revenge. And I know women that truly do need the support ordered by the courts because the father does nothing, 100%. Rashawn, he nailed that. I was threatened multiple times about being taken for child support as a way to keep me when I was over the relationship. The reason that I even mentioned my child support orders was because it was used as ammunition and an attempt to hurt me, which didn't work. Shaquana, yep, nothing changed. He's still there. Coco is laughing. Keep your pants up, right? I need that book, cuzzo. Oh, it's coming, y'all. Edith, hello. I missed the show. Just getting off work. Edith, we still on. Just run it back. Thank you. Pretend, pretend, pretend. Say that. Quentin, it was not always being. It was not always being. It's not always being revengeful. If a man just totally ignores his responsibility of helping to provide his child, then what is a woman to do? Yep. Now, if the woman is not doing her and being not responsible, then the man should take her to court. There is really no excuse for a man to not pay child support. The women who the brother states are revengeful are the women who has been scorned. If men have scorned these women, would simply apologize to the scorned woman. I don't know why I'm not able to see the rest of it. I'm sorry. Um, Scorn woman for the sake of the children. You just might be surprised how things can turn out. That you wouldn't have to go through the courts for child support by honoring your obligation. Communication is and will always be the key to success. Once a man/woman knows the process in the mirror, life and issues get better. That's spoken from a true OG, man. I mean, there's nothing else you could say on that, you know? I mean, honestly, today we've had some amazing men come up here today. We've had some amazing black men that, do pay child support, and they not bitter, and they continue to do. Um, I'm supposed to give um, I'm supposed to give my final thoughts and my wrap up, but I'm a little ahead of time. But I am going to give my final thoughts and my wrap up, and then if we have time, I'll bring somebody else on. Um, I think this is a serious issue. I believe that child support is needed, but I believe that if adults would be adults and be responsible, nobody would have to go to the courts. I believe that, like I said earlier, out of 10 women, I believe 8 women would be willing to work out whatever payments you guys needed to work out. Um, I believe that us as men, sometimes we leave the wrong way, like Q said. And if we would just, women are emotional. And not saying that men aren't emotional, but women are emotional and they need to be nurtured. And the same way that you was loving her before you got the drawers is the same way you got to love her when it's time to go. You have to be two adults and say, you know what, this not working out. Like, first of all, we don't want to get banned, producer. Okay. So I know my pastor says sometimes you got to meet people where they at. So here we go. Listen, my guy, once you nut in her, you are responsible for a baby if she gets pregnant. We no longer have the right to force a woman to have an abortion or to do anything against what she wants to do. You have to take full responsibility. If you drive drunk and get caught, you go to jail. You do not have the option of telling the police, yo, I made a mistake. Yo, I shouldn't have did it. I'm sorry. You do not have that option. If you murder somebody, you do not have the option on if you have to pay for what you did. Condoms are basically free. I was about to say $5 you could get you some condoms. I know everybody want to wear a Magnum, and you don't need a Magnum. Go get you a Lifestyle, get you a Rough Rider, get whatever you need, my man. Don't pretend that you got to go get the gold pack and you didn't use $5 and all that. Man, ain't nobody got time for that, man. Listen, condoms are free all over the place. You ain't got a condom, get you some saran wrap and a rubber band. Do whatever you got to do, man. I mean, what's sad is that child support and a baby is the easiest part of this all. Because these one night stands and this unprotected sex and all of that, what if they got something that's uncurable? Like, having a baby is the easy part. Yo, okay, I gotta take care of this kid. All right, whatever. But what if you get the monster, man? What if, there's no coming back? Then what? We have to be responsible. We have to be adults. We have to take care of these kids. And I know a lot of times people gonna front, guys gonna front, and they're gonna pretend they do so much, but the baby mother just hate me, and she just doing this to me, and she just doing me to that. But I can almost guarantee you, she's called, she's texted, she's begged, she's pleaded, she's talked to your mother, she's talked to your father, she got your sister on the phone. All she wanted you to do was just help her. So And I'm going to give you a prime example because I had to be educated and I didn't understand. My two infants alone, I have a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old. On the low end, on the low end, their child care is $1,000 a month for them. Then my 8-year-old, he goes to after school, which is another $500 a month. So just in childcare alone, that's $1,500. My 8-year-old plays football, he plays basketball, he does every extracurricular activity you want. So each season, that's another $400. Um, Outside of the $400, it's me not being able to work overtime because I have to be at my child's games. So that's money you don't have. My 8-year-old, he eats like a horse. We probably spend all of $600 or $700 a month in food in the house. And I'm just telling y'all this stuff just to say, is a lot of times we get mad. The judge got me paying $472 a month. And to be honest with you, man, I'm just being straight up because I think it's BS. I think it's BS that you don't take care of your kid. I think that I can't respect you if you're not taking care of your kid. It's your kid. The kid look just like you. You want every DNA in the world. Then you get the DNA test and you still don't take care of the kid. I mean, for real, in this day and age, with one kid, $500 is not even enough a month. I'm gonna keep it real with you, bro. I'm straight up. I'm gonna tell you straight up. Forget the women on the live, sir. I'm talking to you. One kid, just one kid, $500 is not enough. Remember, that kid need room and board. That kid need food. That kid got to go to the doctor. If mom don't got health coverage, she got to pay. They have to have shots. It's not an option. They have to get vaccinations. They have to have certain things, man. So if I had to give my take on this, I think that child support hurts the kid. And the reason why I say child support hurts the kid is because 80% of the men out here are not real grown adult men. If you had to go to court to pay child support, more than likely it's because of something you did. And like Rashawn said, and a few other people said, there are vindictive women out here, and I get it. But we're talking about the majority, and we're talking about the masses. When you go for child support, the kid hurts. The man is bitter. The woman is mad because she knows you out spending money on the next woman and you taking care of this lady kids, but you don't take care of your own kids. And then, you purposely put stuff on social media to make her mad. What you think she's going to do? She's going to lash out. She's going to go back to court. And believe it or not, fellas, social media is now legal in the courtroom. So when you busting up bottles and you doing all that stuff you doing, she legit coming with pictures and all of that to the court. The judge is now telling you, I'll use myself. My oldest son mother came to court with pictures of me on my Facebook. The judge in turn turned to her bailiff and whatever his name was, hey, how much is Moet in the club? He said, it's about $400. I wanted to punch him in his face because, first of all, when you ever pay $400 for some White Star in a club, I should have went over there and smacked him. But anyway, she's like, okay, well, I see 1, 2, 3, 4. I see 6 bottles here at $300 a bottle. First of all, it wasn't even my section. I didn't even buy the section. I'm just in there fronting for the pictures. And what did fronting get me? Fronting got me over $1,000 a month payment. Fellas, stop fronting, man. Be who you are. Take care of your child. You will get more blessings in the end for doing the right thing by these kids, man. That's it for me. I believe child support hurts the kid. And it hurts the kid because we won't man up and just go ahead and pay the child support. Regardless if the woman got it or not, you still have to help. We worried about what she got. Like, my grandparents, they've been married over 60-something years. Do you think my grandfather worried about what my grandmother has? That's not normal, bro. It's not normal for you to be worried about what she has. She still has to pay, regardless to what she has or whatever's going on. She still has to pay. We have to take care of these kids. These kids need us, man. And you know what? I get it. You're not working. I get it, man. Call that lady up. Tell her you're not working, but you want to see your kids. I don't work, but while you go to work, let me cut down that babysitting bill. Let me cut the babysitting bill down. I'm not working right now. I'll keep the kids. I don't have money to give you, but I can keep my kids while you go out to work and be able to handle what you can handle, and I can save you that $1,000 a month you paying. I'm the mistake fixer. It's always a way to fix mistakes, and that's just basically what they are. They're simple mistakes. Hurt people, hurt people. Mad people, hurt people. Let's fix these mistakes, sir. Let's get it together. Ma'am, if you angry because he moved on, let's fix these mistakes. If you know that man doing what he need to do, let's go on down there and that child support and move on. You know why you still sitting at home bitter? Because that hatred you got in your heart is blocking your blessings. Get rid of that. Go on down there, take that man off child support. He been holding it down. He gonna continue to hold it down. And I guarantee you, your blessings gonna come in. Now don't be no fool, sis. Don't you go and take that man off child support if he ain't helping you, because that's not what I'm telling you. But if you know he doing the right thing and you know he is an amazing dad, but you just angry because he moved on, sis, go down there and take that child support off. People, you can follow me on all social media. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. The bag don't come if you don't subscribe. As much as I want to help people, I'm not here because I just don't have nothing else better to do. I'm going to be straight with you. I ain't going to lie to you. I need you to go to my page. It's Dr. Nate the Mogul. It's N-A, Dr. D-R, Nate, N-A-T-E-D-A for duh, and Mogul, M-O-G-U-L. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Don't just go to it. Please hit the subscribe button. Follow me on Facebook. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You can also email me any topics that you'd like for us to discuss at Dr. Nate the Mogul at gmail.com. You can inbox us here on the page. We want to hear what you want to talk about. We want to discuss real topics that's hard to discuss with your mate or with your ex or whoever it is, that in hopes we can open up a conversation and be able to fix the mistake that was made. So again, I appreciate you all. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Love is love. I need you to share this video, get us as many views as you can get us, and I promise you, man, we here. So all my info is up. It'll be in the chat. Please, whatever we can do to help fix whatever mistakes we need to fix, we like to tackle those topics. I love you all. Y'all have a great night. God bless. Good night, and stay sucker free. You heard? One.